Hello everyone. Yep, my video is working. Welcome to, I got my self view showing. I need to hide that. There we go. Welcome to Watch for Falling Meteors session 21. We've been a little spotty. I went on vacation. Other people had stuff to do the week before, but as working adults with kids, we are finally back. And we're going to dive right in as we get close to touching shore on the Isle of Dread. Neil is going to go ahead and give us a recap for the session that occurred like 3 weeks ago. Good luck.
Yeah. So we were traveling through the Camelbarth Forest. As we traveled through that forest, and we were trying to make our way back to the coast effectively at this point so that we can undertake our adventure to the Isle of Dread. But we heard several rumors, basically escalations between Galantry and the Alphatians. So the latest rumors were that Galantry, a collection of heroes, was sent as emissaries to talk to the Alphatians. Meanwhile, in Galantry, they captured a spy, and he was subsequently killed. But news came back that the party of heroes met with General Tornall, and through some form of conflict, rumors are fuzzy, he ended up vanishing along with the Galantrians. And like the next day-ish or so, the party of heroes resurfaced, rip-roaring drunk off their asses, blackout drunk, with the remains of General Tornall, who Ariadne, the Empress of Alphatia, tried to res with the wish spell, which failed for some reason. And these guys seem to, I'm not really sure what happened. They're maybe still there. Oh, no, they broke out of the dungeons and escaped, was what happened. So they're kind of on the lam. On the quote, meanwhile, elsewhere, in Salonika, clerical missionaries from the immortal Vanya from the Heldarn freeholds, more or less Mongols, were slaughtered in the Ethanger Khanate, and their bodies were riddled with Ethanger weapons, lances, arrows, etc. So it appears like they were killed by them.
Little backwards. The Ethengars are the Mongols. The Heldanik are kind of like Norsemen.
Sorry. Okay. So yeah.
No problem. Just want to make sure you know that the Ethengar, they're basically the Mongols.
The Mongols have ostensibly murdered a party of clerical missionaries from Heldarn. Yeah. So we end up kind of making our way back to town. We set up a trading post and managed to hire one Hamrak Greyborn, a dwarf, to run our trading post at the Carnon Inn, and messaged our only other friend, our merchant friend, and told him we had set it up and he was going to send some troops by to see what was what and help out with some planning to make great profits. So we end up hiring a boat. Romic Trollbrew captaining it, and headed south to the Isle of Dread, whereupon we easily bested a Hydra, much to the amazement of the crew. Got some.
Yeah, I don't know that any of them were amused. They were busy pissing themselves.
Right. The other A word. We got some meat out of that, a couple of tokens of the beast itself, and we're heading south around the kind of easternmost peninsula there.
Yeah. Say that the party's fully hydrated.
Indeed.
That didn't take long.
No, we can't. Ever.
Tip top in Bristol fashion.
Okay. Thank you very much for the summary, Gimelon, inspiration. So yeah, you are currently making best speed south. The ship is covering around 40 to 50 miles every day. So about 8 hexes each day of travel. Just following the coastline with plans to touch down at the wall that was detailed in Rory Barbosa's notes. based on the scant map you have, they did circumnavigate the island before they left, which is why you've got the area unmasked that you do. So, yeah, you guys just continue your journey at this point, making your way down to the island. Is there anything in particular, other stops or any other interest you have, or you just want to make best speed for the island?
Well, that's the question I have. Is we've got several cities listed down here, and I remember I have a vague remembrance of some of them being hostile and some of them being more friendly.
Yeah.
It was-
So, go ahead.
It was just the city or people near the wall that were considered friendly. The other ones were potentially all cannibals, weren't they?
They're a mixed bag. So, the ones by the wall were the friendly village. Like, they actually welcomed them and had a few that spoke a few tribe members that spoke Thaiation, although badly. Thaiation is the common tongue, by the way, where you live. Common means you speak Thaiation because you're in the Empire of Theodos. Even Galantria is considered loosely part of the Empire of Theodos. So, yeah, the other villages, some of them were wary but welcoming. Others literally threw spears at them as they were coming ashore and were cannibals. So, it's kind of a mixed bag with the various villages.
And the whole idea of coming to the Isle of Dread was to establish trade routes for that guy in, well, for us and for that gentleman in
So
Penheligon.
the trade routes were a major part of it,
Mhm.
but I've also got visions here.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah, Gamelon has had
outfit.
visions of pirate ships flying
So
a very similar flag to the one that sunk his ship years ago, as well as visions that there's something of import at the very center plateau of
Okay.
the island.
Excellent.
we got rumors of a pearl the size of my head,
That's right. The big
as well
pearl.
as
Yeah.
a legacy fallen civilization in the interior. And the implication is that these villages on the exterior are descendants, remnants, what have you, degenerates from the central larger group. And
Okay.
for whatever reason, we don't know why they fell and whatnot. There's also a big ass volcano around here somewhere.
Yeah, we saw
So
it.
one might
It was
surmise
Belgium.
that the volcano wiped out their advanced civilization.
Could be beasts, could be tapping into powers untold, digging too deep in the mines. Who knows? Lots of shit. We don't know. They could still be there.
It's a volcano.
It's not a volcano, yes.
Correct.
It's rough. It's really rough sometimes. All right.
You just take our humor for granted.
Come on now, let's just start with a blank slate.
Ah,
You're just pumicing and now.
yeah, this sounds like
yes,
this
yes,
reminds.
Brian.
Oh, come on. I was just gonna say this reminds me of the other guys when they kept saying "fresh start."
We're just trying to make D&D great again.
You can't say fresh start right after I said fresh start.
Yeah.
That Magdala.
Okay,
So,
so
Right, we're hit by a meteor.
As
we had also discussed looking for opportunities to trade for native and local fruits to produce overly expensive wine from the oyster beds.
That's right. We were gonna open up a brewery.
So
What's
whether or
happening?
not I guess that's something we can also look at doing on the way out. Talk to the peoples there. At the very least, we need to stop the city at the wall. See if we can collect some local legends or any lore from internal on the island, and see
That's
where
right.
we go from there.
And there's that big wall down there that we want to kind of look and investigate.
Right, I've got it.
I mean, the
Well,
one with the friendly locals near there, that would be a great starting point.
I think so.
There's no city there that's listed, but
There's like a village of Tanaroa, I think
Yeah,
is what it's called.
that's the name in the scroll that you found or that you were given. That it detailed that the city was called Tanaroa.
It's a long
Um,
trip. It took almost 3 weeks to get here.
Not quite 3 weeks. It's been
No, it's been
it's
3
been a
weeks.
full 2
Trust
weeks.
me, it took 3 weeks since
Oh.
we killed that Hydra.
Saying I've forgotten
Fair
details.
Fair enough. It has been 3 weeks. So about midday, traveling along the peninsula, which it's basically you're traveling, I would say half mile from the shoreline, maybe a mile from the shoreline. You can see the mountains along this peninsula are just jagged spikes covered with mostly like heavy tree cover going up them, and then kind of bare rock at the top. Definitely evidence of what you would think of when you think of a volcanic island. That very rich, fertile soil, but just sheer cliffs. There's definitely nowhere to anchor as you're traveling along. As you are, like I said, probably a half mile to a mile from shore, just following this line. They've got a person in the crow's nest. They've got another person up on the bow, watching carefully for reefs, because they know, according to the maps, that the reefs are pretty bad here. Anyways, as they're going along from the crow's nest, they say movement along the mountaintops, and glancing that way, you do see some flying shadows that are moving around one of the taller spires of the mountains. It's so far away you can't really clearly make out what it is, but you do see something flying, and it's no way it's a bird. You're way too far away. So something at least man-sized or bigger. You see actually probably a half dozen of them flying around, and they're chasing what looks like well, none of you have ever seen anything like it. I don't think any of you have. But it's like a scaled beast with horns on the front of its head. It must be really large, probably the size of a small bus, because you can see it from here. Running along, and these things are coming by, taking swipes at it. And then you lose sight of it as it goes down over the mountain ridge and disappears on the far side. But it's definitely noteworthy as you go by that the island's definitely occupied by things you've never seen before.
Well, that's a good sign.
After the end of the by the end of the day, you're getting close to where, in the distance from the crow's nest, they can see the tip of the peninsula. It takes another day before you break down to inside the reef line, which is pretty. This reef that you come across is really visible. From the crow's nest, you can see it from a long way, and it looks like this should be like more than just a reef, but like a section of the island that should be jutting. Is not quite reaching out of the ocean, just because the ocean's rather deep there. So with some careful navigation, the captain slips inside that and then continues to follow the shoreline. By the end of the next day, you've reached the inner shore, and then winds actually.
Little island is that little island we just walked?
It's less an island. It's more like it looks like another section of the. You imagine that this island, which by the way, you've actually seen one smoldering volcano, a small one, but you've already seen one smoldering volcano just as you've been sailing along the coast of the island, and the island is just surrounded like mountain cut lines going straight into the ocean. So there's been a lot of volcanic activity here, and you think that it's just jagged rocks poking up out of the ground, and you think it's nothing more than just buildup of probably another volcanic site at some point in time that's just breaching the water. But it's clearly jutting out of the water. You can see it from each one of these hexes is about 6 miles, and you can see it from over a hex away. You can see this small island. But it doesn't appear to have any life or anything of note on it. It's just a big rock sticking out of the ground. By the next day, the captain gets you into the bay to where you can actually see from the shore, or not the shore, but from where the boat is, because the boat can't get more than about probably a half mile to a quarter mile from the actual land.
Sure,
But
right.
all the mountainsides break away, and for the first time, there are actually beaches. There is a huge wall that you can see from the boat as they're starting to lower down a skiff for you guys to take in. The wall is 50 feet tall. It's probably 40 feet thick, and it extends as far as you can see over the horizon. It goes all the way to the waterline. It actually extends about 20 to 30 yards, so about 100 feet into the water itself, ending in a massive tower. The tower is probably 70 feet tall. I'd say 80 feet to a side. Gigantic tower. The blocks that this wall is made of, even from here, you can make out like blocks. They are massive. This is honestly architecture that none of you have ever seen anything like this. Even in Specularum, you've never seen architecture on this scale. Possibly in Highforge. I take it back. Busy might have seen something along this lines where it involves both technology and magic to create something like this.
Right.
Do we
It's
still have
not
that-
like a thing that where giants would have built this wall. It's actually possible for humanoid smaller races to have done this.
Yeah, it's possible. This is a technology. I mean, this is possible, but it's some of the greatest feats of the world.
Do we have that wand of fire?
He's- He's like scribbling little sketches, and then he's just interested in the wall from where he is.
Sure.
Do we have that wand of fireworks still?
Sold it.
We gave that
He
away.
traded that off.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you set down to the skiff. You have the option from where you're at of trying to go to either side of the wall, either the north or south side. What's your preference?
South.
Okay.
Head to the village first.
Okay. So you hop onto the skiff. You start rowing. It's actually a rather large skiff. It has a collapsible mast in it if you needed it. It's just got a long pole down the center of the boat that could be stood up and have a sail attached to it. So the 6 of you pile into the skiff. Two of the crewmen come with you to row the boat back after you get done. The plan is for the ship to stay in harbor. They're going to drop anchor right here where the water's calm, and they're going to be here right now. They're going to let you determine what your plans are, and then they'll figure out what they're doing, if they're staying here, waiting, if they're going to do whatever. So you reach the shoreline after probably 10 or 15 minutes of rowing. The water's very calm here. It's actually really beautiful beach that you pull up to and hoist the boat up. As you are... Go ahead.
Is that before we head to shore, does any of you have the ability to cast comprehend languages?
Yeah.
We might need that.
It's a ritual.
How long does the ritual take to cast? 10 minutes
10
or a
minutes.
minute?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. How long does it last?
1 hour.
Okay. Is that something you're doing before you guys disembark, or is it something you'll do if it comes up?
How long would it take to get to shore?
Oh, it's about 10 to 15 minutes of rowing to get to shore.
So why don't I just do it once we get in the skiff?
Okay.
You just
So-
don't want to row.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't want to row. So,
You know what? That's not my strength, and my strength lies in
does-
other areas.
Yeah, he does have 8 strength, so
okay. Nace starts...
I tell you, I could help someone with some guidance to begin rowing if they want.
Oh,
It's
good.
definitely
this
not
is actually
skill
one of
check.
the better rowers for some reason.
This is not a strong party. Yeah.
No.
Wow, Busy's tied for second on strength in the party.
Way to
That's
go,
crazy.
Busy.
So, as everyone's rowing, Nace is casting a ritual for comprehend languages. As you are running into the beach and start to pull the boat up to the 2 sailors who come with you. Hop out, grab ropes, and haul the boat up so the keel is high centered and the boat won't drift back out. In fact, all the sailors in the group are familiar that it is currently high tide, so the boat should be safe here. You don't have to worry about it being dragged back out. As you are disembarking from the boat, you, let's see, I would say, yeah, at least half the party notices that there are some humanoids that are emerging from huts that are near the base of the tower on the south side of the wall. You couldn't see them until you got up to the beach, but you can see the trees have been cleared. There's actually like stumps. The trees have been cleared probably for 100 feet south of the wall, and there are large, like probably 50-foot long, 20-foot wide huts that are just made of like sticks and bamboo and reeds with woven palm leaves for roofs. They are all on stilts, typically stilt space like every 5 feet. They are actually about 5 feet off the ground. It's also, by the way, you can tell just by feel from being here, it's very humid. This would be your typical hot, wet jungle, rainforest type climate. For some of you, it's probably pretty uncomfortable. For Gamelon, where you're from, it's actually very hot where you're from and wet. So this is actually probably a weather you're used to. Weedle, for some reason, this feels comfortable to you, although you normally dislike hot weather. For something about this climate feels normal to you.
I'm loving this, guys.
Hey,
So-
McDonald's, McWeedle.
McWeedle.
You see several humanoids. It looks like about 6 of them coming out of one of the huts that's like, there's 4 of them in a semicircle around the base of this giant tower. They come out, you see them pointing, one of them runs back in, and pretty soon there are a dozen kind of golden brown skinned men and women coming towards you. They're wearing, they have like grass ornamentation, like, woven grass bands and stuff on their biceps. But they're wearing leather pants, let's be realistic, leather shorts. They have moccasins on. They are carrying rather well-crafted spears. They do look to be stone-tipped as opposed to metal. Some of them have shields. One of them is actually, who does appear to be the one the rest are following, is wearing a chain shirt and carrying 2 wicked-looking bone clubs in his hands that have sharpened hilts on the end of them. Anyways, they start to approach. I wouldn't say they don't seem to be hostile, but they're definitely on guard. They're not pointing spears at you, but they're definitely holding their spears with both hands at the ready. And they start to cautiously walk up to you. As they
Is my
get...
crossbow doing anything? Does my crossbow have any response?
No, your crossbow senses hostile intent, but it also has to sense hostile intent that's close. Like, it can't be... At this point, you've had the crossbow long enough to understand that you're not really close enough for this to pick up someone means you harm. Around 60 feet, that's normally about the earliest the crossbow gives like a warning, hey, there's danger. The string, you look at it, it faintly vibrates, which in your experience, because you've had this crossbow for like 2 months now, it typically means someone's not sure, is like ready to fight if needed, but not overtly hostile. So, Jesus, I know
They
who I'm
seem
voting
like
for.
us.
God.
But would you consider the person they want to vote for?
In
All
the
right.
swing state of Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does someone who have the stream up make sure that it's not vibrating weird? Because I may have to switch to my Razer Keo. I just heard it make
Looks
a weird
fine to me.
vibration. Okay.
Are you talking visually or audially?
No, I mean like the audio doing that weird jagged effect it did last time.
It sounded fine.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, about 60 feet away, one of them starts to call out, and they're like, "Ungulu wawa, ungulu umbabwa," and it makes perfect sense to you, Nace. You hear them
I
say,
get the literal meaning.
"What?" You get
It's just I
you
understand
get
the
the-
literal meaning
Okay.
of any spoken language you hear.
The literal meaning was, "Newcomers, are you from mainland?"
I'm just gonna say yes and nod, like very
In-
exaggerated, so I
In
understand.
Thaatian?
Yeah, because I don't speak their language.
I doubt you speak their language. You don't even know what their language is. So,
Yeah.
okay, he stops and they look and they see the nod and the rest of them nod. They relax their weapons. They start to walk up until they're within a comfortable speaking distance. They're probably 10 or 15 feet from you now. They form a little semicircle with the guy up front in the lead. He takes and he points at you since you're the one who answered, and he goes, "Tanaroa," and he's asking, "Do you speak Tanaroan?"
No. I'm using magic to understand what you're saying.
Okay. He turns and he goes,
I'm gonna shake my head no.
"Okay." He nods and he turns. He says, "Ungala ungala boo," and the rest of them all nod like, "Oh, I get it." And sorry, I guess you understand what he's saying. He just explained to them that you're using magic to understand them. He says, "We have or he wouldn't say doctor. I'm sorry. We have medicine man speak your tongue. Come with us." And then
Okay.
they kind of part a little to make it so that you can walk between them. And as you start to proceed, the direction they lead you, a couple stay in front of you, some stay beside you, and some stay behind you. So that if you decided you wanted to change a direction, you'd have to go through at least two of them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell everyone we're going to the medicine man because he'll understand what we're saying.
Hope he
Okay.
has an airship.
Let's do it.
I hope he has an airship. Jesus.
They are a
Oh,
little
God.
defensive right now. They're not sure of us quite yet.
I give him my nicest smile.
Mm.
Try to hide the canines.
You better
Okay.
beat at them.
Oh, that's a good point. So you walk they lead you along a pathway, and very soon you come upon another giant tower. They're probably every quarter mile along the wall, and again there are 4 large grass huts that are manned by tons of tribesmen. As they go by, like you see some notice, you actually see up on the tower at the top, like 70 feet up, there are some looking down. You can see when you first approached, they had bows out, not drawn, but bows out tracking you. Then once they saw that you're with these Tanaroans, they relaxed and just like gave a nod to the party passing by. The wall, you could get a good look at it now. The stones that make up this wall are like 10 feet long, 5 feet tall, and they are, 10 rows up, building a wall that's 50 feet tall and has not quite crenellations, but it does have cover stones up on the top of it. Truly a huge, magnificent wall. It has ivy and other vines and stuff growing up this side of it. You did notice on your way in that there's the outside, the north face of it is pretty cleared. You didn't see vegetation when you were at the sea.
It's interesting.
As you travel along this trail, they don't really say a whole lot to you, but you notice all of them, well, not all of them, several of them keep making trying to be discreet gestures at Gamelon. and like nodding excitedly.
Hope
And
they're not hungry.
let's see. Perception.
You're gonna find they bit off more than they can chew if they are.
Gamelon,
give 'em-
Stefan, and Gamelon and Stefan, you both notice that one of the ones who keeps, like, you can tell is trying to pay attention to Gamelon without being noticeable, has a large tattoo on his neck, and it looks like a symbolic representation of a turtle on his neck.
Oh, you're a god here.
That's the turtle soup maker.
Why can't we go to the
Oh
island?
boy.
The turtle soup maker.
Looks-
His favorite food tattoo.
Favorite food tattoo? Kung Pao chicken.
We're having a feast tonight, boys.
It seems good until you notice another one has a cheeseburger on his neck. So, all right.
They don't have Instagram. They just tattoo their food on their
Right. Picture of their food. Oh God.
I only
Most
get the
memorable
freshest
meal.
ingredients.
Is there anything else of note, like on the wall, any kind of script or writing or pictographic?
No, actually, the
Decoration.
wall is remarkably bare. There's no ruining, nothing. It's just
Okay.
probably the most impressive wall you've ever seen.
Would we have any idea as to why there'd be ivy growing up one side but not the other?
Somebody clearing it. Somebody was making an effort to keep the north face of the wall clear so that there were nothing to climb up. Because you're pretty sure, like, Weedle, you're pretty sure you could scramble right up the side of this thing with the vines. Not even I wouldn't even make you take a check. It looks
So
that
some-
easy to climb up.
some-
Especially because
built
he has
this-
climbing speed.
Right. Something built this wall to protect the people living on this little isthmus.
Well, yeah,
Seems like a
that's-
reasonable conclusion.
So this is the paradise.
This is Jurassic. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
So, it takes a couple hours. It's probably midday. By the way, you guys really launched, set to the. You guys got here the night before, and then set onto the island in the morning when you could see, because it was pitch black here. There's very little light. That is noteworthy. There were no torches in the tower when you guys arrived late in the evening. So they don't seem to light this or anything. So it takes a few hours. It's probably mid-morning by the time you reach the village of Tangaroa. I am going to share a map with you. This is the entire village. It's pretty clear how the village is laid out as soon as you arrive. And then we'll actually get down to the people and cultures the people that you meet. So you come in from the northeast corner, coming up to a large tower with the 4 huts around it. As you got closer and closer to the village itself, there were multiple huts. Multiple towers. So that there's basically the big central tower around the gate, which we'll get into, and then 3 towers on either side. So there's a total of 7 towers, basically, that span right here where the village is. The village itself is several hundred feet across. I think each of these squares is 50 feet. No, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, each one of these squares is 50 feet, to give you an idea. So it's large. The towers are 100 feet across here, that are nestled up to the wall, and they're about 20 feet taller than the wall itself. There's a large gate in the center of the wall that is 80 feet across. It's made of 2 doors, giant timbers that are 40 feet tall and lashed together. It looks like it has 2 large wooden ballast on the bottom of it that you can climb under and hold on to push. And so if this thing's moving under human power, the hinges on it must be incredible. Busy, that's something you're marveling at. Like, it would take incredible
The
hinging
leverage.
and balancing.
The leverage.
Right.
do
And
they do?
counterbalancing for this thing to be, for even a dozen people to be able to push this massive door. There are several trails you can see. The large pools that are lining the northern side are tar pits. They're actually pits that are probably, as you they take you through one of the trails right here to go past them. The pits themselves are probably 20 to 30 feet deep. And as you look into one of them, they have 10 to 15 feet of tar in them. So kind of another line of defense is explained to you. Then there are 4 main sections of the village. Each one is rows of these huts that are they're about 20 feet by 80 feet. They're all raised with 10-foot stilts. They have ladders that go from the front door down towards the center of the gathering, like right here. In the center of the area is a large totem. The totem right there at the northern one, which is the first camp you reach, where there's quite a few people out and about, villagers. The totem itself is actually of a turtle. It is not a turtle. It's like a doesn't quite look like a turtle. It looks like a turtle that has like the legs of a human, as opposed to your squat, stumpy, actual turtle-looking legs. And it's a more humanized neck that goes to a human. You know, it looks like a human body that someone added some turtle stuff to. And then it has a shell that looks like it's made from a sea turtle, probably a huge sea turtle. And then it's got finned arms like a sea turtle. The other villages are a fox, gorilla. It's not gorilla. That's not right. Hold on. I want to tell you the right villages here. Village of Tangaroa. Come here. No, not the map.
Man in a fox suit.
There is one of them's fox. I know that one. So
Come
there
on,
is
Cat Village.
So they're all furries.
They
Got
also
it.
say the village worships furries.
That's right. Okay. There it is. The elk is on the south. The hawk is on the west. Oh, not fox. The tiger is on the east, and the turtle clan is on the north.
Nice.
Then in the center of the village, probably it's like 1,000 feet away, you can see there is a cleared off area that has an earthen wall. It's about 3 feet tall. It's this area right here. It's surrounded by an earthen wall that's about 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide, of just packed earth. And then packed ground inside that, and a small flattened off pyramid in the center that's 50 feet across and about 15 feet tall. It's got a flattened off top, and there's a huge gong. It's probably 15 feet across, and worked metal. This is not... You don't really see much worked metal here. The chain shirt that the leader is wearing looks like you could have bought it in an armor shop in Theodas, or in the Grand Duchy. So it's obviously something that they traded for.
Ace, ask that fella what's the deal with the turtles.
My comprehend languages would have worn off unless I could recast it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So when you get to the village, though, the first village they take you to, that's just a summary. Oh, the large areas in here, these are gardens and pastures. They're full of goats and pigs and just their livestock, and you see crops and stuff. This is just each area sectioned off. So when you get to the turtle area, elk, hawk, turtle, and tiger.
Tiger. East was tiger.
So the an older man, probably in his 30s, who has a bone, like woven bone breastplate. They've woven bones into leather. He's got a big feathery, extravagant headdress on. He's carrying. He has a gnarled cane. You notice he's got really knobby arthritis fingers. and he's got several gourds on his belt, and a couple slung over a little bandolier that he has made out of like woven grass. He definitely fits your definition of what you would call a witch doctor or a medicine man. His face is tattooed with a white skull over his forehead, and then like four long teeth that come down over his mouth down to his chin, kind of like the Punisher symbol, really. Anyways, as he sees you approaching, he has a big smile on his face. He's got like 6 teeth that are all varying shades of anything but white. He comes down. He's got a big smile on his face. You notice he's a little hunched. As he comes up, the gentleman, the large tribesman with the chain shirt and the 2-bone clubs, who initially met you, motions for him, and he walks over to him, says something in Tanaroan to him for a little bit, and then he nods, and then he walks up to you, and he says, "Welcome,
King
travelers."
Oh, he speaks common, he does.
That's what the guy
Hello.
said. Hey.
Hello. Do you know Barbosa?
We know we know of Barbosa, but he's
Ah,
not so
Barbosa friend. Barbosa friend. He starts to say something in Tanaroan and says Barbosa, and they're all like, oh, and they seem really pleased.
Well,
Yes,
that's right.
we-
They don't know that Barbosa's
a
kaput,
pirate,
do
probably.
they? I thought we found out that Barbosa had died, but these guys may not know that.
I'd have to look through my notes, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
According to your notes, yes, he was supposedly killed when his ship was sank.
Right.
And
But
then
they
these
they
documents were
obviously-
recovered.
They may not know it. Okay.
Yes, we're here to do some exploring in the island. I have a vision that needs me to figure it out.
He says, "You have vision of Tanaroa."
Tanaroa, north of the wall. See?
Oh, that draws some. When you say the wall, all of them are like, oh, and they're all looking like sidelong up at the wall. He says, "I, Meekkuk."
Meekkuk. One second. I'm
You
right.
guys need to
Good
get
old
anything out of your
Meekkuk.
system. I'm surprised nobody needed to get anything out of their system on that one.
Mhm.
Too
His
easy.
name is
I kept it
Meekkuk,
to
you know?
myself.
We're
Yeah.
Too easy.
that one's too easy.
Yeah. I mean, that one wasn't even hard.
This is my son, Balthak. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, can medicine men have sons?
You're
Right.
playing D&D or S&M. I get confused.
This is my apprentice, Taint Scrotum.
So he looks expectantly.
Yes. I couldn't help but notice on the way in, you've got some sort of turtle on a pedestal back there. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, he motions. Totem protect graveyard. Looks like your ancestor.
I don't know much about that.
That makes me and us blood brother to you.
Well, I suppose that's a good thing for us.
Yes. All blood brother turtle. Those, he points down to the southeast, blood brother tiger. Har, har, tiger.
Yes, Tiger.
Beetle.
I know.
Yeah, I go, yeah.
Oh man. At that point, I guess he notices you. He's like,
We've got all the totem warriors here.
ancestor.
Brother!
Oh.
Brother. Doctor.
Where is Elk?
We don't have, well,
And Karnan does this.
Like,
We're still
He
putting
says,
the family
"Oh."
together.
you, Elk Spirit. And then
Yes.
he looks at the remainder and he goes,
Mama.
Emma.
you are Hawk. Owl?
Ranger Steve.
By the way, you've got Bone Claw sitting on your shoulder. So
Oh, he's got his owl.
He
That's right.
got rid
Yeah.
of the
My name's Stefan. Nice to
communication.
meet you.
Stefan. Owl. Cousin. Hawk.
Indeed, it is.
Sure.
You are welcome in Tanaroa.
Do you know anything about the Great Black Pearl? That big.
Great Black Pearl.
Thought
That
in my
big.
I did.
North of the wall.
North of the wall.
And he like
Oh.
rattles his stick, and the bones on his cane still like clink and clatter, and all of the villagers stand up and they shake, and they've all got various jewelry and stuff that clanks and clatters, and then he motions for them all to sit again, and they all kind of squat down like crisscross applesauce.
Changing my name to Jon Snow. We're going north of the wall.
Your bloodline is weak and you will not survive the winter.
Why do Barbosa, friend, come to Tanaroa?
We come to make friends and have trade, and also we come because I need to go find the pearl.
You go north of the wall.
Yes.
Dangerous. You
Good.
should not go.
We know fear danger.
We're quite strong. We killed a Hydra on the way.
Oh,
Yeah, so
slay
the truth-
a
I've got two.
hydra.
I've got the
What
truth.
is a hydra?
Beast in the water, big teeth like this.
Mini
Oh.
heads.
Yes.
He turns to them and he says, Ogo Lognoto Haha, and he does like a fin on his head, like a shark,
Yeah.
to the villagers, and they're all like, oh, okay, so what?
No, many heads, big teeth, each head with teeth.
Yeah.
Hodoko Haha. And then he does like multiple fins, and they're like, okay, that's cool.
Okay. So,
Busy's gonna try and is there like any sand to try and draw? He's gonna try
Oh
his
yeah,
best to
it's
draw.
packed to earth here.
Yeah,
Bet
he'll
nobody
try
has
and
minor
draw
illusion.
something in the sand.
He's
Or
like,
actually,
no,
yeah.
wait, look, man.
No, I don't know minor illusion. If someone else has it, they can.
that's what I was trying to look for if I had. Where are my cleric spells?
I'm surprised Dace doesn't have a ritual.
A ritual for it?
Yeah, he's got a ritual.
Alarm,
for
animal
everything.
messenger, comprehend languages, find familiar, general repose, identify Lehman's tiny hut, skywrite, tensor floating disc, unseen servant, water breathing, and water walk.
What about Skywrite?
I
Make it-
said skywrite.
Can you
Except for
draw a
Lehman's tiny
cloud
hut.
that looks like a hydra?
Looks like a hydra.
It's 10 words,
Gotcha.
not images.
Okay.
Busy tries his best to draw. The
Nace
giant
does the
Hydra.
first ASCII art in Vistara.
10 words.
It's a whole bunch of V's.
Just a bunch of V's around a zero.
I guess if there's no space, it's one word.
With a
Okay.
with a couple of parentheses.
Okay. Busy is busy trying to draw what a hydra looks like. Actually, it's not too hard to draw. You do like a round body and 5 heads coming off of it, and a tail, teeth.
And then I draw like a human size, like super tiny next to it.
Okay. As you do that, like some of them are like, oh, there's like a recognition. They understand what you're talking about all of a sudden. They definitely seem very impressed at that point. You do have at least 2 of them, like, touch your head to see if you're a child.
Can you tell us about
Because he's
the,
drawing in the dirt.
Right.
It's like,
Can you tell us about the creatures north of the wall?
Yes. Many creature. Dangerous. Big mouths. Teeth.
Do any of them fly? With horns?
Oh, yes. Big birds. Big birds with no wings sometime. Also, tall monster.
Oh.
Wall keep out, usually.
How often do these creatures approach the wall?
Mostly in rainy season or following travel party.
And is that what the gong is for? To alert you that something is approaching the wall?
No. Gong, he stumbles on the word like he's never heard that before. For here wall. Here side wall.
I guess that's when they're over the wall on their side of it.
Oh, I see.
The
Okay.
alarm, they've breached the wall.
That makes sense.
Village attacked.
Gotcha.
Has that happened before?
Yes. Ship. Bandit.
Pirates.
Pirate. Yes, pirate. A bunch of them are all mimicking him. Pirate.
Arr.
Arr. Pirate.
Pirate, yes.
You can always tell
They
because they have a bird on their
take-
shoulder.
Take
Say that.
women, child. We have gong to call defense.
Yes. Okay. Well, guys, I don't know what else we can get out of here.
I was tying my shoe and didn't hear. Are there creatures on the other side of the wall?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Big
said lots
ones.
of big dangerous stuff.
Giant ones with
Alright.
teeth, and maybe some giants.
Oh,
All right, fair
you
enough.
know,
Thank you.
you know where you have a map of north of the wall. Any maps? Big
Ooh.
city, big plateau,
Good call.
Plateau. No.
flat mountain.
Yes. Flat mountain. That way. He points north. Can guide you to tar pit. No further.
That's all right.
Okay.
You don't
Great.
have any drawings or of the land.
Oh.
I'll
He
show him a
takes
different map. I got a different map here.
Okay, you want to show? If you show him your map, he'll look and he goes, "Oh." He points to right where Tanaroa is, and he goes, "You are here."
Yes. All right then.
You
And
are
like-
here. Mean Tanaroa. Barbosa
and
taught.
I'll point to the map and sort of a little bit north of where we are and say, do you have any drawings of this area?
It's just a dot on the map, I'm sure.
He points there, and he goes, "No." He moves your finger down and goes, "You are here, Tanaroa."
All right then.
Do you know where the pearl is?
I said north.
Oh, pearl of ancestor. That way. Dangerous. No. You
Fair
should
enough.
not go.
Why is it so dangerous? Just monsters?
Monsters. Pirate. Flying lizard.
There be dragons.
Hmm.
So if we are here on the map, where is Pearl?
The map is my map of the world, so it's just showing the dot for the island.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were
Oh,
showing.
I thought you were showing him the map.
I thought you were
Barbossa's
showing him
map.
this map that we had.
Yeah.
Barbossa's map.
Barbosa's map, yeah.
Yeah, the map Barbossa gave you is of the Isle of Dread.
But it's only of the periphery.
Right. The center's not filled in.
Right. So I was just
But
asking where the Pearl was.
Even
on that
when you
map.
try to get him to point north, he just keeps pulling your hand down and says, and calls Tanaroa, you were there.
Okay.
It's pretty
Is
clear
there-
as he keeps saying with Barbossa that Barbossa showed him where Tanaroa was and said, you are here. And he just keeps mimicking it back to him like a child.
he doesn't get the
He
map.
does not seem to comprehend that this is a map.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything we need as far as provisions before we set off north?
I mean, I have plenty of food for myself. I think
We have all that Hydra food. Would they?
That's true.
They'll dry it. They would actually be interested in the Hydra meat. There are a couple times you have been asked if you have anything to trade, if you brought stuff to sell.
The crops that are out here, are there any like fruits or anything with high sugar content that could eventually become some sort of adult consumable?
Sugarcane.
That's pretty ubiquitous. We're looking for something a little bit more exotic.
We need fruit. Fruit.
They have berries.
Okay.
Some weird berries. The gooseberries. They've got maybe plums.
Smells
Not a
tastes like
not a
smells
ton of fruit. They do actually have like really spiky, crazy dragon fruit. They have pineapple.
Work. Can make a lambic or something.
That would brew. Make some tapache.
Yeah. Any agave?
Just think of the kind of fruits you would be able to find in, say, Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah.
Some sort of tropical.
They've got fruit. That's all we need.
That's all we need. We could dry it because they know how to dehydrate it, transport it up north. We're not interested in consuming it as food. We're interested in the sugars in it. So this could work.
All
We
right. We'll deal with that.
Boil it here into a molasses type consistency and ship it out.
Barely. Yeah, syrup. All right. We don't have much to trade.
But we do have Telesir who wanted to help set up some trade routes with
Right.
these people. Who was interested in opening trade.
We have another friend of Barbossa on the ship who wants to trade.
He was in Specularum.
Oh, sorry, he isn't
Or
Specularum.
no, I'm sorry, he was in Penhaligon.
Yeah, gone. Well,
Right.
yeah,
But
we need
the captain of the boat is his representative. So
Oh, okay.
the captain of the boat can negotiate on his behalf.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, we have a friend of Barbossa who wants to trade. We are the explorers. See, he's the trader.
Oh, Barbossa, sailor,
Barbossa said,
warrior, not
Oh, yeah.
sailor.
Yes.
little both.
Oh, no, little bad sailor, big bad warrior.
My boat did sink. Pirate.
They get really somber, like really just a hush falls over. Oh, turtle boats sink. Build new boat?
Have new boat.
Have new boat. Okay.
Yeah,
You
so
want
yes.
guide. You stay. Take wife?
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Oh,
Got no time for that.
yes, ugly wives. Sorry.
Need turtle wife.
Is that the Hydra you drew? I just noticed the drawing.
It's a
Where
very
is it?
delightful hydra.
Oh wow, that's
That's-
a pretty good drawing.
Steve or Karnon, one or the other.
Wait, where is the drawing?
It's on
map.
the northwest garden.
Oh,
They made a
nice.
They made a hydra out of a crop circle.
Wow.
That had to be Steve then.
Huge.
Cannot take credit.
So,
Yes. So I don't think we'll get much here, gentlemen. We can camp for the night, head out in the morning, send
Do we-
notice to...
Well, do we want to? How are we contacting their boat for them to start talks with the peaceful people?
As it so happens, I can message.
Right, that's useful.
okay, you gonna send a message for the boat captain?
Yes. Effectively, I will tell him.
I'm drawing an airship. My boat. Land. Air. Cloud.
It's 25 words, right?
Yep.
That's 21 words.
Okay. Awesome.
We'll-
All right.
Yes. We'll need someone to go guide our trade captain back from the beach. He'll be waiting with the boat.
He turns and speaks to the guy in the chain shirt, who's actually, you can see, they've like packed up supplies and stuff into like a rucksack, and they are getting ready, or not a rucksack, like a mat that they've rolled up food and stuff in with a blanket, and they're lashing it onto their back, and they're getting ready to head back anyway. So he nods, and then they head off back to the east, and he says that they'll take care of it.
So, no map, no need of supplies. The land should provide for us. We'll head north in the morning.
Let's go.
Or,
So
what-
we're just
what time
going
is
off your
it?
vision that we need to find a pearl.
Yes.
What time is it now, Jason? It's still like midday or
It's
mid-morning, right?
before noon right now.
Oh. Yes, Ixion sent me a vision, a very powerful one, guiding me here. There's a plateau with a temple of some kind.
Was that when the temple lit up?
Ahead.
Was that when the temple lit up? Is that the vision you're talking about?
Yes, that's the one.
Seems important. And you said there's a giant pearl, so worth trying.
I'm ready to walk.
Plateaus make great places for airship launches.
They do. Think of the
Is there a place we can like camp out for the night? Because
You're welcome to stay in the
May not be
village.
appropriate.
You're welcome
No,
to
but
stay
in the fields
village.
may not be appropriate.
They've also offered to. They have a guide who will take you as far north as the tar pits. But is
You're not
willing to
talking
go
about the
any
tar
further.
pits in the village,
No,
but
no.
outside.
They're the place they get their tar from.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because these are pits
Yeah.
that have had tar poured into them. But they will take you as far north as where they get their tar. They said it will take. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It'll take 2 days to reach the tar pits.
That's an appreciable way into the thing,
Okay.
I think.
That'll give us time to look around and see if we need more provisions than what we've got.
Right.
Okay.
Do we want to stay here this evening and head out in the morning?
Doesn't matter to me.
Seems sensible. That way we get a full day in.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I should mention that. If you want a guide, they'll leave in the morning because they have a campsite they reach on the first day. They camp there and then they go to the next site. Like they're not.
Okay.
They won't camp just along the trail. They have a set spot they hike to.
Okay. And if the guide needs to speak to us, he needs to let me know, and then 10 minutes later I can understand what he says.
They'll send
Unless
a
they
guide
speak
who
common.
they'll send a guide who speaks a little bit of Thaiation, at
Okay.
least enough to communicate with you.
Okay.
Is the walk to the tar pits dangerous?
They look and they're like, they kind of give a weird bobblehead expression.
Not for us.
The medicine man says, most safe, not always. Can clear road, so get away.
We
Get
have our
off the
big
road.
warrior. We're good.
Okay. Well, the evening's quiet. The
Apples.
food is basically like, some flatbread, fruit paste, some vegetables.
No, we've got Hydra meat.
Oh, yes. Well, I take it back. The night is not peaceful. The night is rowdy as shit, as they have a feast, actually at the central pyramid. All of the... You think most of the tribe is here. Loose count, you'd say there's probably 200 people at this gathering. The whole clearing in the center is like, I want to say 300 feet across. But everybody sitting there, they set up makeshift mats, or they lay out like reed mats that are woven together. They lay all the food out. They set up a big fire around the pyramid. They're roasting the Hydra meat, and everyone's eating Hydra, getting whacked out on fermented fruit paste.
Whoa. Fermented food paste.
Well, yeah, when they store their fruit paste, it ferments after a while. So
That's the stuff.
you can tell it's not on purpose, but it is definitely fermented. Not fermented into get you drunk fermented, more like fermented, did somebody spike this with CO2, like fermented.
Okay.
Like it's just
like pop rocks.
right, yeah. It's got like a weird, if you put food in a cooler with dry ice too long, it starts to get that carbonated taste to it. That's kind of what the fruit paste is like. So it almost fizzes. So
But it ferments.
yes, it does ferment. You're sure if you refine the process, you could probably make some pretty good swill out of this. If you express any interest in the idea of brewing, one of the many medicine men brings over a gourd and pops the cork out of it and hands it to you.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
It's a fruity milk, but it is definitely alcoholic. It has alcohol content. It's not as strong as a lot of whiskey you've had. It's kind of like maybe like a weak
pina
rum.
colada.
Yeah, like it's like a weak rum, except and actually it's coconut milk. But it's kind of thickened. You don't know what they added to it. But anyways, they are aware of the concept of getting buzzed. You don't know how much of this you'd have to drink to actually get drunk, though. Like it's not that strong. This is like the wine cooler of alcoholic beverages.
Yeah. Okay. This is what we can use.
Proof of concept.
Proof of
Yeah.
concept.
So
Yeah, we're gonna taste it.
So he actually is interested. This is a medicine man too. He actually speaks some Thaiation as well, and he asks if you have beer.
Indeed, we do.
I don't think I have any.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
And a ration of rum. He would love to try it. He misses Barbosa beer.
Yes.
I
We'll
have any
source
beer.
one out for him at some point. I'm sure
Okay.
the sailors.
Maybe
I
the
don't-
captain
I don't
does.
have one on you.
The captain, you know for certain that the captain has rum on board.
Yeah.
So
I can message him.
you're for certain that the ship had a still on it. So like
Okay.
because they're making their own rum whenever they're
Well, there's sugar
sailing
cane
for
here.
10 days.
So
Yeah, you definitely have the makings of the stuff you would need to set up a brewery.
Can I use create food and water to create alcohol?
Check the spell. I don't think so. It would be pretty sweet.
I am
Spells.
a god.
but you could use prestidigitation to make it taste like rum.
Create food and water.
What
45
is
pounds of food,
prestidigitation?
30
I don't know.
gallons of water. The food is bland but nourishing.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
No.
So it's not a feast. It'll keep you alive.
I was trying to figure out if I could actually make one. Create or destroy water is the first level spell. Yeah. Alright, never mind.
All right, we have a feast, then we go on the wall.
Okay. So the feast it goes well. They are ingratiated with you. The tribesmen seem to really enjoy having you there. The next morning, as you hear roosters crowing and sheep baying and them starting to get up in the morning and tend to the livestock, which they seem to sleep until the sun's up. Like nobody really ventures out. As you emerge from the huts, you see the medicine man that you were talking to, because you sleep with the turtle tribe or turtle clan, as well as two other younger men who are both have like they have the same leather jerkin with bones sewn into it, but like there's not as many bones, like junior medicine men, and they are all sitting in a triangle around the totem, each facing outward, and all of them are sitting like hunched on their haunches, with their hands out, like resting off of their knees, like they're meditating. As you step outside, you realize they're mumbling very, very softly. You can just see their lips moving, and they're like, and as you start to come down the steps and the people start to come out, all of a sudden their eyes snap open, and you look, their eyes are just bloodshot, just horribly. The first two rise slowly. You can hear bones cracking as they've been in this position a long time, and both of them run over and quickly help the medicine man to his feet, and he's just hunched over and holding his back, and he starts to he sees you and he's like, oh, like a little smile, and then they practically carry him into one of the huts that are surrounding their little graveyard. It's
Oh, you think they're praying
you've come
for
to
a
understand
safe
their graveyard
passage?
is like a you're not sure.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the juniors when they come back out, because I don't want to disturb him if he's resting.
Okay. So they're in there for a couple minutes, and then you see the two juniors emerging. Both of them look exhausted. They look at you, like they catch you standing there, and they say, "You need help."
I'm worried about what's his name?
Mikak?
Yeah, I'm worried about
Meek-Kak.
Meek Cat. Is he okay? Are you okay? You were up
Just
all night praying.
tired. Pray, no. Protecting, village.
And what we? Oh, protecting the village.
From
the vil-
he points to one of the bones on his chest.
How often do, and I point to the bone and attack village? Now I've stopped using prepositions.
Oh, he makes what is clearly a zombie mime.
Oh.
Moon.
When?
So a full moon, zombies on a full moon.
Yeah. But when is the next attack?
We protect till moon.
Oh,
Oh, they do this all night.
Too strong protect on moon. Then fight, and he points at the bones on his chest.
How many moons until the next attack?
no, how many days?
Yeah, well, days, moons.
Sun. He holds up 7 fingers.
Okay, so we have 7 days, and then we need to be back to help them.
Agreed.
Okay.
Well, it's 2 days to get to the tar pits, and who knows how far we'll be.
Where
Yeah,
did
that-
these zombies come from?
That's a good idea, John. Busy.
He says, "Oh." He motions you to follow him, and he walks over to one spot because the graveyard, understand, is like 100 feet across, right? He points to what looks like a freshly dug up grave, and points at it.
Is the pearl what causes the zombies?
Pearl. There. No go.
Well, Gamelon, you have any ideas about this ground? Is it cursed or something?
I was just checking. Hold on.
That's a good point. Actually, Gimlin, no check needed. You can sense this ground is sanctified.
What's sanctified?
Like you can feel it. Yeah, this ground's sacred. It's been blessed multiple times. You don't
Yeah.
actually even get like a foreboding undead sense about the grave.
Can I inspect the grave to see if there's
Wait,
anything
do the
strange?
zombies help defend?
Defend. He points at his chest, and he points to the grave that's empty, and then he points like south towards the main, like where the gong is. But he nods. Like you've gotten the gist of it.
Mm.
They
Well,
raise zombies
They
to
raise
defend the
zombies to help
village.
them. Right.
And Gamelon, you'd probably piece it together at the very least. Because they raise these zombies, any night they're not using them to defend, they have to actually sit out
Sanctify.
here and meditate to keep the zombies from waking up. So they use their ancestors to defend the village, but as a consequence, if they're not here to control them, they will crawl out of their graves in the middle of the night.
Well, that's an interesting setup.
Kind of a fucked up situation, to be honest.
That's weird.
So we don't have to be back in 7 days, guys. That's all right.
No, they're usually okay, but I mean, yeah.
So, but apparently, being a medicine man means that you have to keep your ancestors from waking up every night.
God damn it, Grandpa, get back in the ground.
Back in there.
Yeah. All right then.
That's
So
good.
what would happen if the pearl was taken or removed?
They don't know
Anything.
about the pearl, really.
You've
We don't
definitely
know
picked
about
up
the
that
pearl.
anytime the pearl's mentioned, they just mention the pearl that way, don't go. That's it. You sense that the pearl is a curse to them. Like, they don't want anything to do with the pearl, but people keep coming here looking for the pearl. So they tell them don't go, and if they go, they never hear from them again. So
Perfect.
the pearl's just the embodiment of evil to them.
Let's go remove this evil.
To rid their eyes.
Yeah. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So when I open up my quest journal, about what level is that? Is that in dark red or?
All right.
Triple skull.
Right. So it says elite next to it. There's a plus.
Yeah.
So,
I'm cool with elite. I got a group.
yeah, you
I
got
just
to
need to know if it's way above my level.
Right. There's no plus plus. It doesn't say raid. All right. So, as you like make your way towards the gates, you can see there are roughly 20 young men, aged probably 15 to 18. All of them are in pairs. They've got a long stick between them that has several large gourds hanging from them. All of them are slick black. You can see this is what they carry tar in. Anyways, they're all standing at the ready. They've got a total of 10 tar hauling contraptions that they are standing at the gate ready to go. Once they see you approaching, several young men come out of the huts that are around the around the gate towers, and they run up to the gate and they start pushing and pushing, and it takes a little momentum to get it going, but then eventually they get the gate opened about 5 feet, just enough that you can comfortably walk through. Also, there were large logs that are like cantered up against the gates so that they won't open up normally. So, and they wheeled those aside, and they are on wheels.
So it's opening inwards rather than
Yes,
outwards?
the gate opens inwards. But you can see that whenever the gate is closed, they have these... It's not so much that they're on wheels, but it's like a platform of logs that can be busted into the ground. And then if they canter them up, they actually roll on logs that are under the platform. Once you're through the gate, then they roll the logs back into place and then canter the logs back into the ground.
Giant
Onward.
braces for the door. All right,
Yep.
Here we go. Busy's all marveled by it, but doesn't have too much time to soak it in as we're
Sure.
heading out.
So as you get out to the other side of the wall, you can see that the peninsula, by the way, is very, very narrow. It's only maybe 2 miles across. You can see water in both directions as you're coming through the wall. On this side, it's cleared for at least 100 feet. There is no shrubs, no vegetation. It looks like the grass gets regularly scythed. So it is wide open here, so nothing can approach the gate without being under a hail of arrows and spears. By the way, you do see that. Broken arrows on the ground, spears that have shattered, all the way out to about 100 feet away from the gate. So they have defended this wall multiple times. There's also bones here of rotting carcasses. Not too many, but a couple where something was killed recently and they didn't drag it in. But you see what looks to be the skeleton of a cat, only it has massive tusks where its fangs should be, like that jut way down past its jawline. Obviously, a skeleton of a saber-tooth. Outside of... Go ahead.
It seems like a handy fight.
Yeah. So you also see some tracks here. One of the footprints that you come across, Stefan's easily the first to notice it. One of the tracks that you come across as you're walking along the trail is it's a footprint that's 5 feet long. It's 3 clawed toes with, it looks like, one opposable clawed toe going backwards. That is driven probably a half a foot into the ground. And the ground's not particularly soggy. Whatever left this footprint is massive. So.
Oh boy, we got some big dudes here.
Jurassic Park.
As they walk by, one of them points at the thing, and he says, "Tortuga."
Tortuga. Okay.
They speak Spanish.
How many Tortuga are there?
They kind of look amongst each other, and one of them just goes, like shrugs. None of them seem terribly concerned.
Yeah.
So, you cover a total of, let's see, it'll be 4 hexes on the first day, which I'll reveal. And then, due to the fact that you're on a cleared road, really, you can actually see all the hexes around that as well. So I will clear those as well. We are officially on our first hex crawl. I want to make that clear. So.
Yay.
So you end up here after the first day. You don't really encounter anything. You see lots of birds and wildlife. At one point, while you're walking along the trail, you can see that you're being paralleled by, looks like some kind of grazing animal. You'd say a cow. I'm trying to think if this is a beast you would have seen before. Yeah, the closest example would be it's just like a long-haired cow that's kind of walking parallel to you for a while. You outpace it pretty quickly, and they're stopping to graze. There's a whole herd of them. Along the way, the villagers indicate that, or the porters indicate that those are good meat. They're very skittish. So the closest thing might be like a small bison. Would be what we would relate to them. So you reach the first campsite. It has a fire pit. It has several lean-tos. It actually has one hut. It looks like it's just big enough for 20 young men. So as they get there, they don't. There's no ceremony about it. They stack up their poles for carrying the tar. They all break out the dried fruit and paste that they have with them. They start eating. They don't bother making a fire. And they're just preparing to turn in for the night. What are you guys doing?
It's pretty warm. You don't really need a fire. That's kind of part of the reason.
It's supposedly, like you noticed the night before, it gets a little chilly. That's not a good. It doesn't really get chilly. It just drops from like 105 to like 70, which is a pretty massive temperature drop. But it's actually the ground is warm. The rocks are warm. The only thing is by morning it's a little chilly just because everything has condensation on it.
So we're in Texas.
Yeah. So, but it also heats up, like, yeah, here comes another, it's still Texas. It heats up very quickly in the morning, too. So, it'll go from getting down to 70 to being up to 80 or 90, like, in the first hour of the day. So. Okay. And it's very muggy. Like, even when it's down into the 70s, it's extremely hot and muggy. So
spend the night in our normal watch rotation, I guess.
Okay.
I could set up Lehman's tiny hut if you want.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Do it.
Might as well.
Sleep in style.
It lasts for 8 hours. I mean.
All right. I need to. Hold on.
You want me to link that?
Tiny hut. Yeah, I just want to read it again. Lehman's tiny hut.
There you go.
10-foot radius, a mobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. It ends if you leave the area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if its area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome when you cast the spell can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. Atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside. Until the spell ends, you command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside in any color you choose, and it's transparent from the inside. Okay, So yeah, you cast a ritual and draw it on the ground, and all of a sudden, whoosh, this dome just circles up above you, and you have a 20-foot space to just chill out in. It's nice and comfortable. It's dry. Lay out your bedrolls. Relax literally under the stars. Yeah, so it's really comfortable.
And no bugs.
So we have two.
I'm gonna pretend it's fart free.
Anyone know prestidigitation?
That's right. By morning, it's like,
Forever.
stop
That's fine.
farting!
Tomorrow, this may be a one-man hut.
Yeah.
So, as the evening progresses, probably around midnight, who's second person on watch?
I think we just did it in
Stefan.
marching order, didn't we?
Stefan, as you're sitting on watch, everybody else is asleep. You're marveling at one. You've never seen. Well, that's not true. There's a lot of stars, and the stars look different than you're used to because you're over 1,000 miles from where you used to be. But you're sitting there watching the stars and just marveling at how really peaceful it is. And all of a sudden, you hear this. And something starts to shamble by. And you see it. I'm going to link a picture of what you see. Share. Okay.
Oh no!
You've seen it before. So,
Oh,
you
boy.
see a ghoul like shambling along the road. Now, the difference between that ghoul and the ghoul you see is the ghoul you see has woven grass like braids on its biceps. It has the same kind of ornamentation, and it's got the moccasins like these tribesfolk wear. It's jacked, like totally ripped. But it has long, nasty claws, a huge tongue waggling out of its mouth. You can see it has the tribal tattoos that a lot of the tribesmen have on its jawline. But its eyes are sunken and just hate-filled, burning red. It's kind of shambling along the road. It looks at the hut and stares at it for a second, just kind of slowly swaying. And then it looks at the dome. And then it looks over at the hut. And it kind of looks, and you swear it almost grins. And it starts to shamble towards the hut. Your crossbow is not vibrating because it doesn't appear to have any hostile intent towards you.
I'm gonna remain quiet and just watch and just see what's happening.
Okay.
Until I get a weird feeling.
Okay, you see it start to shamble, and it starts to sniff the air, and all of a sudden it looks alertly at the hut that the boys are sleeping in. And all of a sudden it's like, and it starts to stealthily like creep up, carefully trying not to make any noise, to sneak into the hut.
I'm gonna wake up my team and let them know that danger is coming. Possibly. I don't know what the hell it is, but I'm waking them up. So
you've got, I'll say this, you have one turn before this thing, like one round. In the next 6 seconds, it's going to enter the door of the hut.
I better ready. I'm going to ready my crossbow.
Okay. And ready or just shoot it?
I'm still a little leery. I want to ready my crossbow and wake up the boys.
Okay. And as a reminder, you'll have to step outside the dome to actually attack.
Right.
Okay. He wakes everybody else up. Give me a Constitution check, everybody. It's a difficulty
save
of 10.
or check?
I'm sorry?
Is it just a check or a save?
Check.
Doesn't matter.
It's just a Constitution check.
I rolled a
You need to
14
roll a 10 or
naturally
higher.
anyways.
Sup, Weedall?
Okay.
I'm sleeping.
I was
sleeping.
enjoying my
Oh,
company.
no.
Stefan,
Wait.
you don't
Not
have
me.
to.
I'm already
You're
awake.
already awake. Yeah. All right, Nathan Weedall, you'll be considered surprised this round. All right, Nace,
What?
you
What?
rouse
What?
the others, and go ahead and roll for initiative. And everybody can roll. Just the sleeping people won't be able to act this turn.
Yeah, my
I was
initiative
least
matched
quick.
mine.
Did you roll 2 1s?
I rolled 2 1s back to back.
Wow.
Stalker.
Getting
Hey,
those
you know
out of your
what?
system?
Get them out of the way now.
Can I do
Right?
some?
Right?
Can I do some Doomstalkery shit? Let's see. Where's my?
Is that 1 in 400 chance?
Stalkery shit.
See, I think what it was is we were spooning, just nice and comfy, and he
It's
was
so
pointed
comfy in the
So,
dome.
such a good sleep.
It's so comfy in the
I
dome.
am. Hopefully, I woke up everybody quietly, and I'm gonna try to.
Yeah,
do
you just
some-
shook everybody real quick.
Yeah.
By the
That's
way,
so
you need to
weird.
roll your
You missed
initiative still.
me.
Just trying to see if I get some kind. Do I get some?
He didn't shake
Oh,
us awake because we
places.
just look so peaceful together.
Yeah. He's like,
When
I'll
you
wake
roll
them up in
initiative, it
6
automatically gives you advantage.
Oh, fair enough. All right.
I'll wake them up in 6
I'm
seconds.
Initiative. That's intelligence.
Everyone else moving
On
disturbed.
the main
He's like,
tab, middle
everyone
of the...
wait. Aww.
Ooh.
Okay. So, Stefan, you're the first person to act at the start of the round. The ghoul is roughly 35 feet away, climbing up the ladder to get into the hut where the sleeping boys are.
Let's see.
Gooly gooly.
Gosh. Some type of range. Yep. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and shoot.
Gotta step outside the hut. So.
Oh shit. Can I do that on a map?
No, you just
Sure.
have to.
All right. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna step outside the map.
Okay, you step outside of the dome, which puts you about 25 feet away from him now.
Is this theater of the mind, or should I be?
Yeah, I
seeing
don't
that?
have a map up for this.
Okay.
It's
I'm gonna-
one ghoul.
I got an error popped up on. Could create a window so that maybe open a map I couldn't open.
Oh, that was when Brian linked the spell, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try. I don't know exactly what I can do here. Doomstalker and Sharpshooter. I mean, I'm
Yeah, you could do both.
a little confused.
The ghoul is completely unaware of you, so you actually have advantage on your attack roll.
And you have 3 shots on your first turn because of extra attack and the Gloomstalker ambush.
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeesh, you're gonna murder that poor ghoul again.
Gould.
Let's see.
Make him
So to
undead.
do all that, I need to click on the first being on the sharpshooter and click on.
If you control click the ghoul in the combat tracker, it should target it.
See the ghoul.
He's in pink at the bottom.
It's
Oh,
at
and
the bottom of
the
the combat tracker.
on the combat ramp. I don't have that open. My bad.
The sword's at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So click on the ghoul.
There's a very
Click it.
Control click it, Steve.
Thank you. Yeah.
You got
You
him.
got to target him. Yep.
All right. All right. Now I want to click on sharpshooter.
On the first one, that gives you a minus to hit, and then attack with advantage. Yep. Now make sure you click advantage and roll your attack.
ADV in
Do
the
I need
bottom
it?
left.
Do the ambusher also, or we're good on that?
Only if you hit, I think.
You don't do the ambush
Advantage.
unless you hit.
All right.
Fire when
Now,
ready, sir.
I need to.
We don't see.
So it's been a while.
Advantage, lower left corner, and then go to
Yep.
the actions tab.
Let her
Okay.
rip.
14, that's a
Ooh.
hit. So, before you roll damage, click the sharpshooter damage one that gives you plus 10 damage, and also click your dread ambusher damage that gives you an extra die. There you go. Now roll the damage.
Yeah.
Try again.
Oh, I may have did it
The
wrong.
damage die, not the shield. There it goes. 29 points of damage in one shot.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Actually,
Okay. So, Stefan steps out, pulls back the crossbow, lifts it up. He's like, pull the trigger in the space between heartbeats. Click, push. It goes right through the back of its head. The arrowhead erupts out of its forehead and just splatters black ichor all over the front of the hut. The thing just like rocks backwards, falls like nesty plunge flat onto the ground, lays completely still. You see its tongue like flop over to the side. There's just black ooze creeping out of it in a pool.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's
rolling
just
over,
quiet.
going back to sleep.
All right. Don't wake up the other guys.
All right. Just wait till they see it in the morning.
I went to use the restroom and came back and it's dead. I'm like, what?
what the hell is
Good,
that?
good hit.
Okay. So yeah, you obliterate it.
Sacred flame.
Are you gonna burn it? All right. You hit it with a
Yeah.
sacred flame, and being an undead corpse, it just erupts. And there's just this radiant fire just hungrily devouring this thing. It takes probably 5 minutes for the thing to completely, it just ravaging, burning fast, and it just leaves like a scorch mark. It's a perfect outline of how it was crucifixed on the ground. It doesn't seem that it... At that, though, some of the men come to the door and open it and look and see this burning body on the ground and look over at you. Quite
Night,
stunned.
Night, boys. Everything's fine.
Don't worry, lads. It's dead.
So, on fire or not, they can still tell that like it was a ghoul. Like it because it's not like... I don't know. Actually, it's immolated. Never mind. They just think you burned up a humanoid. They don't know what it was.
Yeah.
For all they know, you burned up another villager. So, they seem to be like, accept that they don't need to worry, and they go back in and close the door to the hut.
Good.
Okay. Morning arrives. Outside of the unpleasant smell of charred ghoul on the morning air, it's pretty calm. And they come out, pack up their tent pole, or all pack up their little rucks, and they're ready to set out as soon as they wake up, have some dried fruit, and
Shit.
one of them points and says, "What danger?"
Undead.
No
Right on.
danger.
They nod. They apparently know what undead means.
Your great uncle.
Great Uncle Tom.
One of them goes, like he does like a zombie motion, and then like trying to do a ghoul with a long tongue.
Yeah. And I stick my tongue out as far as it goes and waggle it around and go, uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, then one of them takes and like hawks a loogie and spits on the scorch mark.
Ah, that's the spirit.
Point made.
All right. Well, you continue your journey to the tar pits. Let's see here, like so.
I wasn't thinking I should have just dead right away.
So it's about afternoon when you reach the tar pits. I'm gonna move the. You're actually in that hex, but I want you to be able to see the tar pits. So the tar pits are huge. Some of them are like 100 feet across of just bubbling tar. They quickly set to filling up their tar pouches to make the haul back. It's in the middle of like a marsh that it's drier ground to the south. They point out what they can tell you. To the northeast, there is a large lake they don't ever go to. And the marsh here is where they get water. If they need like a lot of water, this is where they come to get it. Otherwise, they have their own wells and collect rainwater as well. And then the tar pits go. They go that way for a half day's march to the west. And the plateau you are looking for is north, through many hills and jungles. But the easiest way to get to the plateau is to find the big river. They call it the Big Water. But if you basically keep heading northwest, eventually you will come to a big river, and you can follow the river to the plateau. But once they're only pointing to like the mountains to the north, which are quite a ways north. There's rolling hills that are gradually getting taller, and then they kind of yield to a jungle on top of them. And then after that, you can see large mountain ranges. And you can't see anything past that from this because you're at such a low altitude compared to the mountains.
Is it dangerous to get past the tar pits, or can we just kind of go through?
They won't go past the tar pits. They keep most of the area down here relatively safe. At least, like, nothing that'll wipe out the village. But anything north of here, like, they don't know. They won't go north of here.
I just mean to navigate the tar pits right here. Is that
no, they can show you trails that'll get you to the north side of the tar pits.
Okay.
As well as show you warning signs, like how to tell if the ground is just crusted over and is going to give way under you, etc.
Right.
But they say they can get you through the tar pits, but after that, you're on your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And watch yourself for any ghouls at night. Might want to set up a watch order.
Yes, we will be ready.
Because Stefan's not always going to be there to protect you.
Yes, thank you. He looks kind of embarrassed, and he reaches down and he pulls out a stone knife and flips it around to hold it by the blade and offers it to Stefan.
You're muted.
He's trying to turn it off. I know that face.
Thank you. Keep that. I have my own.
Hey, Jason.
Okay.
I've got a regular dagger.
I was gonna say I have two daggers. Let me hand him one of mine.
So I'm gonna hand him one of mine.
Okay. You hand him the dagger, and then he absolutely, hands you the flint dagger. I'm sorry, and I said flint. It's not flint. It's an obsidian dagger. So the dagger itself is like a wood hilt with a wood handle. It's wrapped with grass, woven grass, and then which really like twine. It doesn't really have a hilt. It just has a fat part where there's more twine, and then the blade itself is actually sharpened flint, but you can see it's been dipped in something that made it sticky, and then that's had ground obsidian for an edge. So it's an interesting weapon. It's definitely sharp.
Is the stone pretty?
The obsidian glistens, so it sparkles, but when you look closely, it's black. So it's kind of cool that it shouldn't shine, but it's actually it glistens quite a bit. But
I'm all fascinated by it.
So so it has a sharpened flint edge that's been dipped basically in crushed onyx. Or obsidian, not onyx, sorry.
Yep. It sparkles, I'm happy.
Okay. with that, they head back because their goal is to make it back to the camp before nightfall. And they turn you loose to start your journey to wherever you go from here. So we're going to stop the session here at the tar pits. Next week, assuming nobody has any plans, next week we will start the journey to explore the Isle of Dread, wherever you guys feel like going.
Thank you.
It's
All
north.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody tuned in. I see we got 6 viewers, it looks like. We should be back next week, barring a catastrophe. We'll be on at 7 Mountain, 8 Central. Hope to see people there. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.